just landed on the moon in the Lambo. Taking pictures with the zoom and the angle. We'll be coming back to you with the samples. Our predictions coming soon with a halo. We just landed.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Token Metrics Crypto Technical Analysis Conference Call. I'm Bill Noble, your host, and today our topic is this. Is this the end of fear? All right? The end of fear that has carried over from last year. Is the fear trade over? That's our question. Okay, so let's start here with Galaxy Digital. Now, what's Galaxy Digital? It's the stock of a publicly traded hedge fund that mainly invests in cryptocurrencies or related projects. It's run by a well-known guy, Mike Novogratz. You know, he is practically a celebrity in the crypto community. All right. Now, we're watching and looking at this chart. We're looking at a wave structure where, ironically, even though crypto has done better, 1, 2, 3, okay, this huge downward move here, all right, a bounce, and then this final bottom right there, okay, which is right where Galaxy broke out from, okay? So in English, we've seen this big move down in a crypto-based investment fund that has brought this stock back to where it broke out from. So there's one of two things you can think. Either Galaxy is a leading indicator of what is going to happen to Bitcoin, or the fear trade is over. Fear has gotten to like a zenith where everybody is like, wait a minute, there's nothing to be afraid of anymore. Okay. And frequently at the low like this, it can be very ugly. Okay. It can look terrible. Like here's another example of fear reaching a zenith. Reuters reports a draft from the European Union. It says the EU could eventually draft a document stating the bloc should define a common approach to cryptocurrencies and potentially banning projects that are too high in risk. So are they talking about alts, Cardano, Stellar, Neo? No, they're talking about Libra, okay? So in a very ironic twist of fate, there's this moment where fear in the crypto investment community may be reaching a peak, which in turn is bullish. And at the same time, governments who we're all afraid of in the crypto community are pointing their scorn at Facebook and at Libra, okay? So this could allow the entire crypto space to start rallying. In other words, alts aren't too risky, or, you know, the way they refer to alts as being garbage. That may not be true. Not all alts are great, okay? Not all alts are good. But too risky is now being pinned on Libra, okay? Right at the point where everyone is really afraid. This, to me, sets up a scenario where alts and even the bigger coins can start rallying below Bitcoin. And we've seen it happen. It's been happening. We've been talking about it. But what we're getting now is an idea for why it's happening, right? The fear from last year may have reached its peak, okay? I want to look at another chart here. This is total market cap excluding Bitcoin, okay? It's up here. It's total 2 on TradingView, okay? Now, what are we looking at here? We're basically looking at the crypto market minus Bitcoin, okay? And down here, we see that there were 2 bottoms, right? And in technical analysis, that's just a simple double bottom, right? And frequently what happens when you go down and attack a level twice and then you bounce, okay? You can bounce, you know, as big as this range is, you can bounce that way. So I drew it with the blue lines. And we see this red line here is the 100-day moving average, okay? And we see that total 2 is like building this nest. It's like sitting right on top of it. So we think this means if crypto can hold up, all right, that crypto can turn higher and Ethereum can lead. All right, I know we've been saying that. Ethereum has sat still, but that's better than going down. All right. Now, speaking of this idea that the whole underbelly of the crypto market can keep going, let's start like a review of alts. Okay. So here we have Cosmos, right? And Cosmos took out, we've talked about this before, it took out its previous fourth wave. That means it took out the point where the last of the down move launched from, right? So it busted through the end of the fear, really. And as we know, Cosmos took off, right? It may consolidate, it may keep going, right? But it was the leader in the alt space. All right. Believe it or not, we're starting to see as we switch over to NEO, right? I saw in a hedge fund chat room today that they call NEO the Chinese Ethereum. Okay. You can like this project, not like this project, but that's how they're talking about it. And that's how it's starting to trade. Okay. NEO is doing the same thing where it's taking out its previous fourth wave, right? Which means it can still go up. Okay. ZRX. Okay. ZRX right here, okay, held a big support zone, okay? And we think this has potential to head up to 40, okay? Now, one other idea that we have that we think is sort of interesting is Stellar, okay? With Stellar, it hit a diagonal fib point here, and this is now launching itself back towards, again, another one of these resistance platforms where, you know, Stellar had been, you know, really stopped twice, okay? And in this case with Stellar, the third time may be a charm, okay? So we have a couple of these altcoins that are doing quite well, all right? They trade quite well. You can see people coming in, but what's the bigger point? The bigger point is this is not crypto as a casino when it comes to alts. These alts may actually be good investments. If everyone is afraid of Libra, if the Chinese are embracing blockchain, these are game-changing things that people may not be seeing yet because people are still afraid. People have lost money. I get it. All right. We all get it. We're in the space. But we're seeing this as a big opportunity. We think it's constructive alts. We think it's eventually going to be constructive Bitcoin. That may be next year's trade. But we also like Ethereum, and we think that could be this year's trade. So we like alts. We like crypto. It's tough. It's hard to be constructive when everyone's afraid, but that's how we're approaching it. Thanks for tuning in, folks. Have a great day.
Steve and Dave use eToro to invest in the financial markets. Steve does research on global investment opportunities. Dave does research on how to become a level 60 wizard. Steve follows the feed for the latest market news. Dave follows the feed for the latest cat videos. Steve has a watch list for promising investments. Dave has a watch list too. So why is Dave just as good an investor as Steve? It's because Dave used eToro's copy trader to automatically replicate Steve's trading activity. Whenever Steve makes a trade, Dave does too. Yes. Trade like a Steve with eToro, the world's leading social trading platform.
Ain't a hater who presume where we can't go. Lambos pulling up and